Hey, I don't know if this will be on a start, but if you could send Mebby an invite, 'cause I don't think I have him.
Already did.
Okay. Oh, he's in, isn't he? Yeah, okay, good.
Alright, hello everybody, welcome back to Trinity Competitive Racing for the Platinum class. It is round 5 and we are here in the Middle East of Abu Dhabi with 17 drivers, and if you have kept up with TCR in the past week, you will know that we have had 2 late race safety cars in both silver and golden class, so wouldn't be surprised if we see that tonight. My name is Camden Luca, per usual, and alongside me, per usual, is golden class driver, former silver class champion, currently in the Haas. It's Sir Charles. What's going on?
Hey, nothing much, man. I'm happy to be here. It's going to probably be another entertaining race, and I think you said it somewhere in the Discord last night. Nothing goes better together than late race safety cars and Abu Dhabi. So, yeah, it's interesting that that's happened twice, and I'm just, especially in the golden class where we hadn't had a safety car before last night. And that really can come into play because if you have a fresh set of softs versus a set of softs that are, 15% worn from qualifying, it can make a big deal. And B-Tom here getting ready to set his first lap, was that not invalidated? But regardless, and hopefully that is a fast time. But yeah, he's going to have a fresh set of softs for qualifying, unless he decides to do 3 laps, which he could probably do. But yeah, anyone who does 3 laps will not have a fresh set of softs, so that's something to keep in mind. Hopefully you don't have that tonight. It can sometimes cause a bit of unnecessary chaos, but it can also be exciting, so interesting to see how it plays out here.
Absolutely. B-Tom already showing that he is the championship leader, putting up a 122. I mean, in silver class and golden class, we've had some mid-123s, but to put up a 122 this early in qualifying, who's to say he can't put up a mid-122?
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely quick, and, that's, I don't see anyone. I mean, Lawrence is definitely probably the one who can challenge him for pole here, but yeah, B-Tom surprisingly championship leader, still surprisingly looking for his first win of the season. He's come very close, but on a few occasions. But it'll be interesting to see if he can get across the line first tonight. But like I said, he is the championship leader by, I believe, 11 points over Vader, who's currently in P3.
Yeah, we will go over the points right now. Might as well do that. This is a good time to do a recap. As we said, B-Tom 76 points, but he has yet to get a win, and a couple of the past weeks he has been very close. As a matter of fact, 2 last lap battles in the past 2 weeks, and he has come up short in both of them. Right behind him is Darth Vader, and kind of a recap of Season 14, with those two being 1-2 in that order. He has 63 points, and you said it though, Lawrence, he is here tonight. He missed last week, but he's got 60 points, and remember, he did not show up until round 2 of the season.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if he can make it to the rest of the rounds, I feel like he might sneak into championship contender. Just want to point out that the pole time for Platinum last season, we raced here last season, was a 23.4. We're already half a second faster than that. So,
who was
that's halfway through qualifying. It was Aaron Ottenmeyer.
That's right. Yep, he was quick.
And then I think B-Tom was second. No, Professional was second at a 23.5. B-Tom was 4th at a 23.6. Callie Robb also had a 23.6 as number 20. So
Interesting. Well, I mean, it shows that B-Tom has improved, but just in general, I think it's evident that the Platinum class is a lot quicker, especially if you have new guys like Lawrence just coming in and immediately winning races and putting up times like that, and he is on a flyer right now.
Yeah, purple Sector 1, but anyway, Sector 1 is very tricky. You easily lose a car, but if you have the right setup, those that fast left-right, turns 2, 3, and 4 can be very tricky. That being said, I haven't seen many spins this week in that section, so maybe people will finally tune their setups right as Lawrence down the back stretch. He's set purple Sector 1, will he be purple Sector 2? He is. Hugging the apex through that turn. I tell you, I don't know. I mean, these guys are just inch perfect. Like, I mean, if you saw B-Tom's lap, I mean, how he didn't invalidate, I have no idea. But he was right on the edge, and this looks very smooth from Lawrence at the moment. Not quite as wide as B-Tom there. Not quite as wide as B-Tom there also in the final turn, but he goes pole by just over 1/10 of a second, and I'm just shaking my head, because this is fast. This is really fast.
I gotta think, too, like, where would that put him on the all-time time trial leaderboard? I can imagine that would put him maybe in the top 1,000.
I doubt that, just because, time trials is one of the tracks where time trial is actually faster than open qualifying. Generally speaking, it kind of flip-flops depending on track to track here. Silent jumps up to P4.
Yeah, we haven't talked about Silent yet, but he is right there in that championship mix, and of course he won round 4 the Chinese Grand Prix last week. He's got 55 points, which means he and Darth Vader are doing a great job of pulling away in the Constructors, as Ferrari has 118 points, and if you go behind them, B-Tom, he's been carrying the weight for McLaren with 76 points. That's because TJ has gotten off to a slow start.
Yeah, and that was a bit surprising. Obviously, TJ really hasn't had as much time to practice, but you really weren't expecting the fall off that we've seen from TJ. Because you got to keep in mind, he should have won quite a few races last season, partially due to partial self-inflicted mistakes, partial dumb Codemaster things happening, but I'd expected him to be further up the list. Got to keep an eye out for the Haas's too. Now that Bats Plus is back, I'm assuming full time. Expect the Haas's to make a charge. Maybe not for the Constructors, but both of those guys are always going to be in contention for the win. As it looks like Mebby has invalidated his lap, unless this is an out lap, which I don't think it is. No, it's not. He dives into the pits, so Mebby, apparently just got off work, so he has coming in cold, which can be take him a couple laps. Although he had a pretty solid banker, I'd say, early in the session. Obviously, invalidated the second lap.
So we only have 2 people on track right now, and that's about to be one because TJ is on his in lap. The one guy on a flyer right now is the reigning Golden Class champion, Gaetani Weeb.
Yeah, this is only his second race, surprisingly, and I was pretty impressed with what I saw of him in Brazil. He was able to hang in there, so see if he can get a good result. Hopefully, I'd like to see him in this class more consistently, because like I said, he's a pretty good driver. And one thing about Gaetani Weeb is that he might not be the fastest guy, but you rarely see him make any sort of mistakes or any sort of missteps. So. Again, he's towards the bottom. I mean, that's insane to say. Towards the bottom at a 24.2. I mean, that's not. It's not that quick, but it's definitely not slow by any means.
No, not at all.
Oh, and I think he's recording that lap. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, he definitely is. Not a lap he was thrilled with. He's not invalidated, but I don't think he's at full throttle. If he is, then he's not getting an improvement.
Yeah, he's got the light blinking, so he turned off the ERS. See if he has any more in the bag. I think Dirt Shark is the one who won here last year in the Golden Class. Might have to double check that. Oh no, he wasn't. I think he's the one who got a penalty. He was fast here in the golden class last year.
I know who won here in the golden class. It was actually C. Rizzi. D'Angelo crossed the line first, but C. Rizzi, due to penalties, ended up getting the win.
Yeah, and then Dirt Shark got third, but due to penalties, dropped back. And that's how I got my only podium in golden class. Yay!
So far.
So well, I don't know, it ain't looking good.
Hey, don't think like that. It's gonna happen soon.
Maybe we're saving all of our rain for Monaco. And it could just be an absolute chaos fest.
Yeah,
and
that
now
is in
everyone's
3
coming
weeks.
out for their outlaps. I don't think we've had a single. I mean, obviously you don't expect it here in Abu Dhabi. I don't think we've had a single rain race in either class this season, have we? We've had a couple wet qualies, but I don't think we've had any races.
We had wet quali for round 2 of Silver Class at Japan, but that's all I can remember, at least from Silver Class.
Yeah. I don't remember any for Golden Class either. But yeah, possibly. Oh, and Stanley invalidates. He's on his last flyer. Let's see, we got a Haas coming to the line as Bats Plus starting his final lap. And this is kind of when I like to start my lap as well. You can see Bats, no one around them, and I hate getting into the old Constantina effect when you have some guys who like to slow down right before they start their lap for, I don't know, I guess it's just like annoying everybody else. I don't know. I don't understand why they do that, but I think that's what the real life drivers do, so just trying to avoid all that mess.
As everybody is on track, D'Angelo did spin out, so his qualifying is the first one to be over, but look at this, Charles. Everybody on track in some form.
Yeah, it was the same thing in Golden Class last night. It got a bit crowded. Like I said, Bats Plus seems to be the first guy on track. Getting ready to complete a lap. He is 2/10 up so far, and just looking at the timing sheet, those 2/10 could, put him up like 5 spots, could bump him up ahead of Vader if he keeps it up through the final sector.
Let's see. Bats Plus headed through the infamous Latifi corner of Sector 3, and he's been quick the last couple weeks. Mebe is out.
Alright, let's see what Bats does. Looks like he got a pretty good run through the final sector, and he goes up to P3. Really nailed that last lap. That's what you want to see. Clutch lap from Bats Plus. Will it hold up, though? Silent coming around the final turn now. Oh, he almost invalidated. He goes P2. Wow.
It's a good lap.
Another driver in the 22s.
Here comes Lawrence, though, in Sector 3, looking to improve. He was up on his lap, so he just has to nail these last few corners.
And B-Tom is right behind him, too. They're in the same picture on my screen.
Who is it going to be?
Lawrence improves by 10th. Will that be enough? And Taz does not improve. That is an insanely good lap. Now it's Vader. He's coming through the final sector. Just went under the phallic-shaped hotel.
Off the final corner. What's it going to be? P5.
He does not improve. I think that might be everybody. Segrist is invalidated. Stanley got any... Oh, and Stanley does improve. To a 23.9. Again, definitely not slow.
No, definitely not.
Seegers, just thinking that Seegers definitely improved his lap time. So did, I believe, Ben Swerve improved from last night. I'm not entirely sure about Giggle. I don't know what happened to you having a Giggle last night. Did he even race last night? Let me check. I'm not even sure if he raced last night. I mean, that probably tells you something about his race. Did not go to plan.
Yeah, well, while you check on that, qualifying is official. Lawrence putting up a heater, a 122.7, leaving where he left off a couple weeks ago, back when he last raced in the Platinum class back in Brazil.
You having a Giggle did not race last night, so I was right on that. So
interesting.
But yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I do have a couple of notes to take care of before we get to predictions. Number one, I need to learn how to count. This is round 5. I said at the finish last week that Silent won round 5. That was round 4. We are in round 5 right now, and I've been fooled by the lights glitch on the starts of the race. There's some sort of glitch with my point of view to where the 5 red lights go out before the drivers actually do, so I got to remember just to not be fooled by that tonight.
Yeah, that's one of those glitches that happens. I feel like it's been in these games since I can remember. Something with the spectator view doesn't seem to always line up.
They should.
Well, I'm just going with the lights.
Oh, yeah, we'll have to see on that. Another quick fact: this track, similar to China, also has 16 turns. So I think that's kind of unexpected. I would think that Abu Dhabi has more turns than China would, just because China has a lot more long sweeping corners compared to Abu Dhabi. But apparently they have the same amount of corners.
I also love how the loading screen still has the old version of Abu Dhabi with the more squared off corners. But anyway.
Yeah. Who do you got?
Oh boy. Well,
it's tough, isn't it?
Yeah. I think I'm going to go with Lawrence. I don't see how. He's very quick. I think he was quicker than B-Tom overall in Brazil. Just didn't quite work out in his favor. He did end up getting the win ultimately, so I think he's going to get the win. Probably a unexciting pick, but I'll probably go B-Tom P2. He's just super consistent, and it's hard to really not see him at least on the podium, unless he gets into one of his tussles and maybe I mean we'll see. I usually don't see many self-inflicted mistakes unless like I said, sometimes things get a little argy-bargy when you go wheel to wheel with him, but overall I think he'll be able to overcome anything that might happen in that regard. So I think he's going to go P2. And someone who's thought he'd won the race last year, but ended up getting it removed due to a penalty removal, nothing that he did last season. I'm going to go with Mr. Cool Seafreeze. He's really good and comfortable at this track. And I could see him. He was pretty quick at China last week, too. Just that, he spun and never got the safety car to catch up. So I think he's been looking for a little bit of redemption because he really hasn't had much to speak of this season aside from the opening round at Australia. So there's my top 3.
Okay, something I love with Abu Dhabi, take a look at the colors of the sky on the start of this race. We do transition to the nighttime once it ends, but I love the scenes here in Abu Dhabi. As we're going to take a look at the tires before I do my predictions, I want to take a look. Whoa, that's a lot of white tires right there.
That was the opposite of what it was in Golden. Well, actually, Golden class is a bit more resist. There was a lot of hard tires in the Silver class race as well. So they're definitely playing the long game. But yeah, and suddenly, you look at, look what me and Rafa Hulk tried to pull last night in the Golden class race. If you get an early safety car, preferably a little bit later in lap 4, but if you get an early safety car. Godney Weeb's got some pretty decent pace. We know that. That could be in a good position to maybe capitalize on an early safety car. Essentially be a pit stop ahead of everybody. So very interesting that everybody chose the hards. What are your predictions?
Well, first of all, I was looking at Lawrence. He was pulling a Kimi Räikkönen on the first back straight, not warming up his tires at all, but I am not picking Lawrence. I think this is B-Tom's day. If you include the sprint race, he has come second in the last 4 races in a row now. I think he's going to break that monkey. He's going to take it and he's going to throw it off his back. I think B-Tom is P1. I'm going to go Lawrence P2. I think it's going to be a slugfest between those two, and I think Lawrence is going to come up short for once against B-Tom. And you know what? Let's do this. Maybe barely made the race today. And if I've noticed things with leagues in the past, drivers who either don't want to race or show up last second tend to have good luck. So I think Mebe finally breaks through for his first podium of the year. And as an honorable nominee, like you said, Seafreeze, as a matter of fact, he was in the booth last year when he won that race, and just a personal opinion, I think he still should have won that race, so I'll take Seafreeze for him.
Yeah. Oh, and someone doesn't know how to park.
Yeah. You complained about how I parked, Charles.
Johnny Wee doesn't know how to park.
Man, that is not how you park.
This is like the easiest part of the game. Like, come on, guys.
Who was that? Was that Cam? That was really funny.
Yeah, that was Cam. That was Cam doing donuts. I don't know.
Oh my gosh, that was funny. All right. We're getting ready to go here for round 5 of the Platinum class. Lights out and away we go. Who gets off the line good? Lawrence gets ahead of Silent, but Silent fighting back on the inside. Who will get the advantage into turn 1? Silent still has a wheel on him, but Lawrence gets the better corner exit.
That's Seafreeze. Seafreeze goes around. I did not see what caused it. I just saw that he went around.
Tough start for Seafreeze as we have close racing in the midfield. Seagrass and Dirk Shark side by side, right in front of him. Cam and Stanley side by side.
Now, if you're Seafreeze, the good thing is the way the walls are positioned, you know, a lot of times little spins can turn into full score safety cars just because of how close the walls are in some areas. So, higher chance of a safety car here than there was last week in China, but the Platinum's been going recently. I wouldn't bank on it. Ooh, some RG-bargy back into the pack, but nothing to really write home about. And yeah, for the most part, everyone's through pretty cleanly. It's like most of the top guys holding position.
Yeah, very clean start for the most part.
Yeah, like I said, just the weird spin from Seafreeze. Not really sure.
Cam! I was about to say he's gained a lot of spots, but he just lost some of them right there. Good save.
Yeah, as I say, he's still up 2 from the start, so not the worst start in the world. We're coming to the end of lap 1. Looks like Dirt Shark's the big mover. Up 5. Again, he's one of the only ones on the medium tire, so Dirt Shark making that work. Donnie Weave only up 1 spot. That's the Seafreeze spin from his medium tires.
Oh no! D'Angelo has crashed on the front straightaway! And that is a safety car!
And there's Seafreeze's safety car, but so, I think this is a little... I found this out last night. I would have been borderline right on like the 80% line when I'd finished the race on my hards from lap 4. So I would say, if you're a smooth driver, like if Got Any Weeb is, Dirt Sharks tends to be a bit more aggressive, so I'm not sure how smooth he is, but it also depends a lot on the shit setup. You can, if you really wanted to, pit, and they could technically go to the end here. In my opinion, this is probably a bit too early. I would say you'd probably drive through. Oh, what? Oh,
virtual safety car, and Silent, I think, was thrown off by that. He gets a drive-through.
Sure, I thought Seafreeze just got a safety car. I guess not. Well, I thought it was a full course safety car, but I guess
it probably should have been Charles. He was sitting right there on the front straightaway. D'Angelo was, and I think Silent was thrown off by that. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, and when you have more than half the field to come through, well, that's not ideal.
No, bad start for Silent. And he's going to serve it right now.
Bonnie Weave has gotten past Seagrist. Yeah, Silent's going to go ahead and serve it now. Probably a good thing, because right now, if he does serve it, he'll come out in clean track. And he's back with Seafreeze. Maybe he just wanted to give Seafreeze some help. I don't know.
Well, I mean, Aston Martin, well, speaking of him, fastest lap, but not an ideal start. Once again for Aston Martin, 2 weeks in a row, they have had 4 starts.
I tell you, if Aston Martin could just get past lap 2, they're in really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they have the pace, just not the luck.
Alright. Dirt Shark, again, up 5 positions, and he still has almost 70% battery. He's in a really good spot. Look to him to maybe make another move here. He's right on the back of Cam, but Cam gets a pretty good exit there.
Yeah, and you know who to look at too is Mebe. He's gained a couple of spots, and he is lurking on TJ for P5.
mean, I know it's early, but this is definitely more like the TJ we come to expect. Bats Plus has already dropped back from B-Tom.
He has. And what did I say at the top of the show? Lawrence and B-Tom, it's going to be a slugfest between those two. Well, unless something happens, it's looking just like that, as B-Tom is within 1 second as we have DRS approaching.
They just mirrored each other's lap times. Like, it was like hundredths of a second, so it will be interesting.
Yeah, it's going to be between these two, and, you know, I think we're at a point in the season now to where it's safe to say that it might come down to these two guys if Lawrence can show up every week.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, let's not count out Vader yet. I think he just needs to have a race where things go his way, but he just has not seemed to have shown the raw pace as the top two have. As Cam has already used all of his battery. We just started lap 4. Like, oh man, you got to use your battery smarter than this. And I think if you've got any Weeb or Dirt Shark, you got to dump the battery here. And I think that's what he's doing.
That blinking light gives you all the confidence if you're Dirt Shark right now. As Dirt Shark is at about 60% of the battery, but once you get below 10%, it's game over for you.
Yeah, the problem is Cam also had DRS that lap. He slipped out of it. So if we get back to the backstretch on the next lap, and Cam's not in 1 second to Stanley, then he'll simply be
trouble.
Stanley's in the wall.
That's that Latifi corner, and he's got front wing damage.
And that's going to hurt Dirt Shark, but I think Dirt Shark will be able to make that ground.
Oh, he comes back in front of the track and hits an Alpine. He tried to get to the pit lane, couldn't do it, and Segrist is a victim of that.
I mean, it looked like he was trying to continue. That's what it looked like to me.
Well, he pulled off to the right-hand side as if he was going to pit, and then he locked up and went into Segrist.
Oh, man, Segrist, wrong place, wrong time.
No kidding.
Yeah, I don't know what that was. That's a rare mistake to see from Stanley. Because, he's usually a pretty smooth operator. And here comes Got Any Weeb on Dirt Shark. If I was these guys, I'd want to work together at this point in the race, but they're going to battle it out here. And we got Cam almost spun. And so did... No, Got Any Weeb is going to dump the battery, maybe get past... No, he won't get past Cam. Cam seems to have a very low downforce setup. Like these guys... I'm not sure if he had DRS last lap either, but these guys were barely gaining on him down that straightaway.
Which, you think about it, that's crazy, the fact that he's used all that battery, because you don't use the battery in the corners. So if he's got a low downforce setup, you're telling me he's been using all this battery on the straightaways? Like, is he that desperate, like, to try and get an advantage?
I mean, he is up a few spots from the start, to be fair, but... Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he definitely wasn't using battery, so it's not like, that was helping him along.
True.
No change up front, except for Taz and Lawrence pulling away from Bats Plus and the rest of the field. Yeah,
Bats Plus, Darth Vader, they seem to always find each other, and yeah, don't look now, and I don't want to say this too early on, but TJ has had a good first few laps, which I think, similar to Seafreeze, I think that's been part of TJ's problem, is that he just has not gotten good starts this season, but he's had a good one, and he's in the top 5.
Cam's really holding the two medium runners up, and there's nothing they can really do as Got Any Weeb kind of almost loses it there.
But look at his battery, down to 22%.
Yeah, he used it all to get past Dirt Shark on the previous lap.
Seafreeze, Segrist, side by side. There's contact. He saves the car, but he loses 2 spots. Segrist has to take evasive action and go off the track.
Oh, and then he almost makes contact with Silent there.
I'm sure Seafreeze, at this point, is fuming. Yep, he's going to send it, and he takes himself and Segrist out. Yeah, I
Seager
think
somehow got
there
a
was
5-second penalty there.
tempers there between those two. I don't think Seafreeze is very happy at this point.
Yeah, I did not catch the first part of their battle. I will say the Seagrist is not afraid to rub elbows. Had a couple of close battles with him yesterday. I think most of it was fair, although there was one point where he almost crashed. But yeah, that was really weird. Here we go. We got a silent on Ben swerving. This should be a fairly routine overtake, as there's a little bit of a glitch there. That was kind of weird. Now Ben does sometimes like to, he sent it on me on much worse tires in that spot last night, but he kind of pulls out of the way of silent. Vader and Bats Plus.
Gosh, he saved it. That was nearly disastrous for both of them. Darth Vader sideways on corner exit, out of turn 9.
Yeah, and I think Vader, he sees his two championship rivals pulling away. I think he wants to get around Bats Plus as soon as possible.
You know what this has done, too? This has brought in TJ and Mebe, and if you look behind them, Cam got any weebs, so tons of battles at this point in the race.
Got any weeb did get past Cam, so missed that. Also, look who is together again.
Who?
Seagrist and Seafreeze.
Uh-oh. I want to take a look at this. Oh, boy. Ding, ding, ding.
I want to watch the battle for P3, but it's hard to take the eyes off these guys. It looks like Professional is going to be a little far back at this point in time.
Oh, boy. I think Seafreeze wants to get him. He's used a lot of the battery here in the last couple corners. Get the boxing gloves out. It's Thursday night fight night in TCR, and yep, Seafreeze draining the battery, trying to get the Seagrist. Oh, boy. Here he goes. Oh no, there's more contact. That was on the straightaway. Seagrist not happy. And he turns into him, and they're both off the track.
This is just silly from Seafreeze.
Oh, boy.
What are you doing? Come on, league owner, he's going to be facing a fat penalty here.
Oh, buddy.
That's just
here
silly.
Comes Seagrist to the outside. Okay, look, Charles, as a commentator, this is great, but like you said, for the league, this is a big black eye. It's a big stain right now.
Yeah, just have the stewards take care of it. It's one of those things. There'll be I'm glad I'm not Tico or a steward. That's all I'm going to say. But yeah, there's going to be lots of penalty points. You got a thing going towards Seafreeze's way, and meanwhile, back up to the front. It doesn't look like anything's changed. Got any weeb. Once he's gotten past Cam, has started to gain on Mebe. Of course, the only problem is that he's 6 seconds behind. And now Seager spins. Probably, I hope that was on his own.
I tuned away from it for a second. Last I saw, Seagrist was behind him, so I don't think that was anything.
Yeah, I think Seagrist is almost a second behind him at that point, but...
Meanwhile, we have a battle for P10. Silent and Raikkonen, and Silent trying to make up some spots, and he's got one.
Yeah, Got Any Weeb had a bad run through that sector, so looks like Cam almost came back. And we are at the point where the hards and the mediums tend to even out, so expect Cam to maybe start attacking a bit more. If anything, I'd say the hards are probably the better tire right now, because they've got Gotten Any Weeb, and Dirt Shark will be in the next couple laps. So they'll be wanting a safety car here pretty soon.
Yeah, we are at that point where the mediums are falling off, and they're going to have to come in. But like we said, most people are on the hard, so we really don't have to focus on this narrative, or at least this story, too much with some of the front runners.
Now, you might have mentioned it. Maybe I've just been in outer space, but at some point, Mebe got past TJ. But they're also still in the DRS train, so...
No, I don't think I saw that. And Mebe, if you take a look at the positions gained and lost, he's up 4. And my podium prediction for being here late in the game, as Seagrist is in the pits, and I can imagine he might be done.
And he is, yeah.
Yep, call that
now,
one.
you got Vader draining the battery on Bats Plus. What will Bats Plus do? He defends to the inside.
Oof.
Oh, and Vader really squeezed him there.
Yeah. That looked like deja vu of Tuesday night. Battle for the win. Could see that again late in the race. We know these safety cars here.
Now, it's going to be interesting to see... We know how quick the top two is. I don't see Vader making up that gap. We have a yellow... Oh, that's Seekers' AI car.
Oh, boy.
Now, we've seen this before. When it retired... We have ghosting on, so it won't be that issue. But there's another league I was in. It's the FQC League, where SPM, Golden Class Championship leader, was battling for a championship driver, and we did not have ghosting on. And this car right here at this point, Seekers' car is cut straight across the track. I think that's exactly what happened there. Yeah, that is exactly what happened there. Just, thankfully we have ghosting on, so we don't have to worry about that. That's probably the most Codemasters way to lose a championship, I must say.
That's crazy. To lose a championship like that, I don't know if I would ever get over that.
Now, granted, he had work to do. He had to pass the guy and have the guy finish third. I think he had to win, I think. So he had some work to do. He was probably still going to finish second, but that's still... Yeah, that was dumb. I have a video clip of that if you want to see it.
Yeah, I would love to.
Mebby has kind of dropped back from Bats Plus, surprisingly. So now he's under threat from TJ, and he has no battery, Mebby does, so... it'll be interesting to see if TJ can maybe gain here, and Cam gets past Got Any Weeb again. And right now would be a great time for a safety car for Got Any Weeb and Dirt Shark.
Ah, yeah, it would. Almost losing it, and that corner. We have seen so many people the past couple of days either get sideways or lose the back end of the car through the corner exit of turn 9.
Oh, and Mebby goes really wide. You don't want to... Those curbs are not kind.
No, not at all.
Oh, we got a caution sector 3.
Jaws.
Yep, and Got Any Weeb into the pits. Well, that was Dirt Shark who spun.
Yes, that's why I said Jaws. That's his nickname. Or at least my nickname for him.
I had no idea who you were talking about. Sorry. But no, that's, man, Dirt Shark. He was probably coming into the pits too, so, well, he definitely is now. But yeah, now if you're Got Any Weeb, just put in laps. You should have, well, the good news for these guys, they'll have clean track.
I think we have a battle heating up at the front. B-Tom has harvested that battery, and he is right there with Lawrence. And like we said, these guys are all on hard tires, so they don't have to pit for a while.
Gonna have a battle for P5. Looks like, again, Mebby has no battery. TJ dumping the battery. And TJ thinks better of it. I think if he would have dumped the battery the entire show, he would have had a shot at him, but he knows Mebby does not have much battery. But Mebby was able to regain the DRS. And it's worth noting, like I said, I didn't think Vader would be able to catch the top two without any sort of safety car help. But since getting ahead of Bats Plus, that gap has opened by about another 5/6 of a second. So it does not look like Vader quite has the raw pace of those guys. Although he is comfortably, seemingly staying ahead of Bats Plus. Oh, and TJ must have made a mistake, because he was right on Mebby's tail.
Yeah. He's still in a good spot, though. Like you said, he's got the battery as...
Yellow.
That might be... That's Stanley. I thought that was Got Any Weeb. That's Stanley.
And does not DNF.
Mm-hmm. And, you know what? This is a good time to kind of go through our comments here. I think we have a battle heating up, but I don't think B-Tom will get there just yet. Omega on the Twitch side of things says hello. Hello. A couple comments recently on the YouTube. Fire Up Flow rooting for his pal Got Any Weeb, and Oran Keehan. It's going well. Platinum class. It's been exciting. Been a couple of had a couple of incidents. We've had a fight on the track. It's been really entertaining, actually.
Quite literally, this is the classic NASCAR. Someone's going to be waiting at your hauler at the end of the race, sort of thing.
Oh, helicopter shot as Lawrence sideways through the Latifi corner. I think he's feeling that pressure. Man, this is a great... can you do a helicopter noise, Charles?
don't know. Cam almost loses it under the hotel, and now Silent, who's making a decent comeback, it must be said, from his drive-through penalty. It'll be interesting to see how he thinks that penalty, whether it was fair or not. Oh, TJ, no!
We said it too early. We said it too early.
And you know what he was? He was pressuring, or he was. He was going all. He has no front wing either. But he was going all out to try and get back into DRS range. Stanley gets a 3-second time penalty. Now
his race is done.
Cam will be under threat from Silent, and again, Cam has very low downforce. Silent's gaining absolutely nothing with DRS, and Cam was not using any battery. Now Cam might have DRS from... No, he just was not close enough to TJ.
This should be easy for Silent. Should be, but Cam, like you said, that low downforce setup.
Oh, and it looks like Cam... Oh, and he's going to be stuck behind him on a whole nother lap now, probably. As he does a little switcheroo here. Ooh, he got really close to him. Yeah, that's frustrating if you're Silent, because you want to get past this guy and just get
Watch out for TJ! And Silent made contact with Cam and sent him around! Oh, TJ was checking up because of the damage, nothing he did wrong, and in turn 14, that was a collision between Silent and Cam.
That'll probably be on Silent. I was saying that it was probably being a little too patient, and of course Cam being much slower than Silent. One on just raw pace, but two because he probably doesn't have as much downforce plus dirty air. I mean, Silent was practically off the throttle when contact was made, so you feel for Silent, but he's going to be... Well, I mean, you feel more for Cam, but Silent's going to be the one who'll be getting a penalty after that, and, I mean, you understand. I think we've all kind of been in his position, so... Anyway.
Anyway. Yeah. Man. Crazy stuff so far in the Platinum class, and we're only halfway through.
Lawrence has more battery than B-Tom at the moment, so it's an interesting note. A question here. Undercut will definitely be powerful. Who's going to blink first?
I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, we are getting to that point to where a couple of laps from now, they are going to pit. And if I were B-Tom, just from what I know the past couple of days, I would come and pit before Lawrence.
Yeah, and I'd say right now the pit window's open. I mean, you can take the mediums 13 laps relatively comfortably as Lawrence gets on that curb. Now Vader's in the pits. So he pulled the trigger a lap early. But yeah, I think the pit window is open now. In the next 3 laps, I think you're going to see everyone coming into the pits.
Yeah, I agree.
And of course, with Vader pitting, I think you're going to see everyone behind him also pit. So Bats, well, we won't see both Bats and Mebby. They're too close together, but...
Well, somebody is going to pit before somebody, and I just saw a comment from Mr. Omega. He asks, what does it take to get a safety car? And honestly, I have no clue at this point. Oh, Mebe sent it in a little
weird inconsistencies with reduced safety cars in this game. That's the setting we run because if you have it on standard, it's just, the wind blows a little too hard and you'll get a safety car. So, what are you going to do?
We had it on standard last year, and I can definitely second that. We had way too many safety cars, and it seems like this season we've had about 4.
Yeah, we had it on standard at the start. I think we changed it mid-season last year, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, we changed it like, oh, here comes Lawrence.
Lawrence into the pits. Yep, I think that was a smart move by Lawrence. He probably saw Vader pit, and he was like, you know what? Might be a good idea. And I think this is going to be a good move for Lawrence. One of the Haas's also comes into the pits. Now, it's going to be interesting to see where Lawrence comes out at. Lawrence, the slow trumble down pit road. I think he'll come out ahead of Silent. If he comes out ahead of Silent, that will be crucial.
Here comes Silent. He's got Raikkonen right behind him. But Lawrence coming out of the pits, and it's going to be close.
It will be. I think Lawrence is just going to be able to maintain, and he will. And he should be out of DRS from Silent, too. Yeah, you got them comfortably. So yeah, that's pretty much ideal. If you're Lawrence, you got the gap just where you needed it, and you know, now's when you put your head down, maybe drain a little bit of battery just to pick the lead out from B-Tom. But now it's going to be B-Tom's turn. See what he can do. And B-Tom's been draining battery this lap until he was at about 45%, and he is on it, trying to make the overcut work, which, again, going from hards to mediums doesn't really work, especially at this track, where tire wear just seems to be a bit more of an issue. Not that they wear faster, but I just feel like there's a bit more tire fall-off in terms of grip, non-grip situations, and here comes B-Tom into the pits.
Watch out for that pit entry. We've seen incidents in the past couple seasons to where people get warnings going over the white line on pit entry. It gets
Only
revoked.
2 tires, too.
Oh, Mebe missed his entry by a mile, and there's a penalty. I don't know if he'll get that removed because he really missed the pit entry and came back onto it.
As long as he didn't cut it, I'll watch the replay here.
I just caught him coming into the pits. I'm not sure if you'll get his corner entry, but...
Yeah.
But you know what? Vader. You mentioned him before as being a potential, at least a podium threat for sure. Fastest lap.
Ooh, yeah.
Trying to get up
that's kind of borderline for Mebby. Maybe he should have just gone on around. I don't know what he did. It's very easy to do right there, but... Yeah. That's a gray area. Once again, that's going to be a difficult decision if I'm the stewards to remove that penalty. And I honestly don't think he can. Lawrence did gain a little bit, but you saw that B-Tom was able to... B-Tom's already drained his battery, so Lawrence, with his battery, and he's got pace... I mean, that guy could be the race right there. And Silent currently right now, I think he's just going to stay out for a little while longer and hope for a safety car. And Vader did the same thing to Bats. I mean, you see a little bit of a gap there. The good news if you're Mebby is that you have no pressure from behind. So, you should have at least a P5 if you can just bring it home, even with the penalty. So, that's the good news if you're Mebby. You're not really going to lose anything. Team-wise, you're not going to lose anything because your guy who's battling was Bats in front of him. So, yeah, not bad. Lawrence sets the fastest lap. Not surprising.
Can you imagine if B-Tom comes in second again? I mean, he's doing everything he needs to do for the championship. Right? Yeah, well, if you include the sprint race, yeah, but this would be 4 in a row just in the races.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
All right, well, I think we're going to see some Ferrari team orders here. They are in the chat together. I believe Silent, Vader, and Lawrence are all in a chat together. Maybe a few others as well. I'm not entirely sure, but... Oh, we're going to have a battle here for P... That's Cam and Gunny Weeb again. Who would have thought it?
They're stuck like glue together. You see one, you see the other, and this could be a cupcake move for Gottany Weeb.
And it will be. It looks like Cam's not really going to fight it. And he's on his way. And yeah, you have the guys. You gotta think Silent's going to move over for his teammate here. No, he's not. That's interesting. That's very interesting considering how close that in there and now he moves over. Not sure why he didn't do it before a turn, but no harm, no foul, I suppose. But yeah, you got to think the guys like Silent, Cam, Seafreeze. I think they're going to probably just stick it out for a couple more laps and hope for a safety car. If you're Silent, I think you might be far enough up the road. You can go a couple more laps and put on the softs and maybe go for a fastest lap at the end and get an extra point that way. And now, Silent's going to play a little bit of a team ball here. He's got Bats Plus right behind him, and if he can just hold him up for a couple corners, that can give his teammate a huge advantage.
Bats Plus probably should just wait for the DRS. Yep, he's not going to try and make a move. Maybe he will. That was close.
I will say, I was getting ready to say, that was one of my favorite dive bomb spots on this track, definitely, on the game in general. Like, I've caught so many people napping there. I actually did last night, too. Caught Ben napping there on the restart, but I had much softer tires, so it's not really his fault. But it's a good place to get some people by surprise there. The old Max Verstappen move.
Silent not winning this battle with old hard tires. That's plus after a podium last week in China, looking to maybe get a podium, if not get another solid result.
Yeah, and Vader was able to pull out a few tenths through that whole exchange. So again, I'd say, job done by Silent if you're playing the team game. Does look like Lawrence is slowly eking out on B-Tom as well. Again, that gap was about 1.5 seconds when he came out of the pits. It's now up to 2.1. Now Silent comes into the pits. If I was Silent, here far enough up, I would have gone another couple laps and put the softs on. I think 9 laps is a bit too far to go in the softs. Yeah, and he's putting on the mediums. I mean, fresh mediums, unless someone else puts on softs at the end, I think that you can probably still get fastest lap, being honest, so.
P9, now P8, TJ trying to recover. Seafree's trying to recover too, but TJ has the position.
Yeah, so Silent really P10 right now. Well, P9, he's actually P9. He's got Cam and Seafreeze praying for the safety car. And that's kind of what I was saying for Silent. I think Seafreeze and Cam will probably be putting on the softs here in another 2 laps or so.
Yeah, Seafreeze, it's been an eventful race, and for Aston Martin, high hopes going into this season, but with D'Angelo out...
it was a great Australia.
Yeah, I'm telling you, Seafreeze was one of the favorites coming into this season, and he won the first race with D'Angelo finishing well. They were looking like maybe the constructors' favorites as well, but it's been downhill ever since.
He's had some bad luck. Not really of his own doing, especially some connection issues. That's why he didn't race 2 rounds ago. Wherever we were 2 rounds ago, I think it was Brazil. So yeah, now it's Seafreeze and Raikkonen.
Don't look now, but Silent. If Seafreeze stays out another lap, this could be a 3-way tango for P9.
Yeah, and this is when you're frustrated if you're Raikkonen, because you're like, Raikkonen knows he needs all the help he can get is Cam pits. And yeah, I'd imagine. All right, so here we go. 22 laps. 7 laps. You can put if you have a fresh set of softs, you can put them on now. I'd say. So I'd say Seafreeze. If as slow as he is, I just pit now. Again, Silent. It's the same thing as it was with TJ almost. Don't get into the back of the guy in front of you. I think Lawrence does not go for the move. Oh, you have a little bump and run there.
That was nearly 3 wide.
Yeah, I can't. Nothing really. Lawrence did anything wrong. Just the old hards are just so slow at that point. You can see the graining on the tires here. And I think Lawrence might try for another move on Raikkonen. Or Raikkonen. It's Raikkonen, not Lawrence.
Yeah, I was going to say, what's Lawrence doing in this situation? Yeah, great racing, though, between all 3 of these guys.
Lawrence is so good he can score twice in the same race.
Yeah.
With that said, B-Tom, well, he has gotten a little bit closer. So I don't know if Lawrence still has a bit of a battery advantage, but I don't know if Lawrence made a little bit of a mistake or if he's just kind of taking his foot off the throttle here. Got any weed. He's had a good drive.
Yeah.
He's currently 10 seconds off the guy in front of him, 4 seconds behind him. I think Silent will catch him by the end. But TJ on the 9-lap-old and 7-lap-old mediums, I think those tires are going to even out. So got any lead looking for another solid finish. And if I remember correctly, he kind of did the same thing. And as predicted, Seafreeze will pit, I'm assuming for the soft tires.
He should.
It's kind of the same thing Got Any Weed did in Brazil, I think. And I think Got Any Weed got a 7th place there as well. If I remember correctly. I mean, 7th, 8th, 9th, maybe 6th.
Man. I got a glimpse of those hard tires as he took them off. They were worn out.
Oh, man. That was like the hards I was on last night, man. I was struggling there towards the end. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what did we talk about at the beginning of the broadcast? Well, it's been the theme for every Abu Dhabi race, it seems like.
Oh, no, don't do this.
I mean, I'm just saying, it's about that time. You have some guys on worn tires. It's the only thing I can say is that the only real battle on track we have right now is for P3. I mean, there really aren't any other battle. I mean, just Giggle and Ben swerving. P11. But yeah, we don't really have any battles on track, so I feel like a lot of these guys are just going to be kind of, minding their business and just kind of getting to the end. Obviously, the top two will be pressing as hard as they can, as well as 3 and 4.
Yeah, you know what? B-Tom, that gap is starting to go down, and maybe Lawrence is just not pushing as hard because B-Tom, he's got 0% battery, but...
Lawrence has about 30%, so...
Yeah, all he needs, though, just get within DRS. I mean, I don't think this is over.
And I will say, battery's pretty... I'm not going to say, it's pretty easy to recovery here. So, you get a couple laps, and giggle. Oh, so now the battle for P11 is really spicy. They both have penalties now. This was Ben Sorvin in another battle for P11 last week with, I forget who it was last week, but it always seems to be in these battles towards the back of the field that are just crazy, it seems like. Although he is pulling away from Giggle now, so maybe not.
Seems to be his thing. Getting into hot and spicy battles, as you said. Seafree said something on Tuesday, something with sugar, spice, and something nice. I forget nice, exactly what he said.
The cliche. Seafreeze was all over the place on Tuesday. I mean that in a good way. I kind of mean that in a good way. It was kind of entertaining, but I was just like, I didn't know what he was talking about half the time.
Did you see the oatmeal comparison that he made?
Huh?
The oatmeal comparison? Did you see that?
That made no sense. Granted, I rarely eat oatmeal, but I have no idea where he's going with that.
Well, if you want to know what we're talking about, go check out the shorts on our YouTube channel. We had one that was just posted earlier on about that.
Alright, so, again, for all your oatmeal needs, make sure to check out the TCR YouTube channel. Please subscribe.
That's really funny.
And looks like Silent here in our Seafreeze. Predictable. Fastest lap. Silent makes a routine pass on TJ and has DRS.
Man, look at this though. TJ not using any battery or DRS, and he is not losing ground with Silent. So TJ, he's gonna get him right here. He's got a lot more straight line speed.
Silent has the much better tires though.
He can at least fight it. If I were TJ, yeah, he should have used the battery before.
And Silent, like I said, I think Silent will catch Got Any Weeb, and if Silent gets back up to P6, I mean, he's going to be kicking himself for what could have been, because, I mean, I think he does have the pace at the top two. And, I mean, this is an incredible comeback, literally from dead last, 17th, all the way up to, right now, P7. He might catch Got Any Weeb with no safety car help. This has been a really great drive from Silent. But yeah, that drive-through penalty. Maybe it was legit. Maybe he had a mental lapse. Maybe it was Codemasters doing Codemasters things. Kind of hope not, but yeah, he's had a really good drive here today.
Lawrence, I mean, I don't think any of us could have expected some random person coming in and taking charge, but with this win today, he will have 3 wins on the year in 4 races, and Mr. B-Tom, after winning all those championships the past few years, he's going to have 4 second-place finishes in the first 5 races with no wins.
Yeah. It's kind of the opposite of what B-Tom's kind of MO was. It's usually been, he'll win half the races, but then the other half, he'll probably have a second or third somewhere in there, but it seems like he also tends to have races where he just, either makes a mistake or gets into a tangle with someone and really either DNFs or finishes way down the order. Maybe trying to, do the consistent, maybe Matt Kenseth his way to a championship to get that reference.
It's a good comparison. I like that.
Swerving and Dirt Shark for the last point spot.
Yeah, this is big, but Ben's got that penalty, though.
That's true. A Dirt Shark on really old tires. Yeah, he's not going to be having fun these last few laps, so...
Nope.
Ben could potentially pull out that gap.
Maybe.
Ben got P10 last night, I believe. Yeah, I think so. Silent, already in DRS ranks, Got Any Weeb. He might not get him this straightaway, but I think he'll get him on the second straightaway. Unless... Yeah, just off of grip alone. Got any wee defends?
We have some battles heating up between these two, and don't look now, but third and fourth getting closer. Bats Plus has a little bit more battery, so we'll have to keep an eye on that podium spot.
Yeah, I think it's going to go right down to the wire. And it went down to the wire between these two last weekend. And that was for fourth until Mebby ran out of gas. Again, remember, Mebby ran out of gas last week. I don't know, are we going to see anyone run out of gas here at the end? You know, and I don't think you'll see it from the top couple. But, you know, there'll probably, you know, someone maybe gambling further down the field, who knows. It's like Silent's just going to be patient here. He should have an easy overtake. He just waits a little bit.
Crossover potentially. That was bold. Here he goes to the inside of turn 16. They're side by side, and he's got it.
Yeah, it's one of those things. If you're got any weave, that's going to kind of infuriate you because that just slowed you down more than it really needed to be. You know, they both could have not lost any time if you'd have just waited to the back straights or one of the back straights. So if you've got any weave, you know, I think the real battle he's fighting is behind him. TJ is coming in P8. Although TJ 13 laps on the mediums, I think those mediums are getting towards the end of their life.
Yeah, this is huge for TJ. You think about it; he's still finishing 8th today after losing his entire front wing. This is a huge step in the right direction for TJ.
Definitely, he showed pace today, which is something he really hasn't been showing. You know, that was the concerning thing with TJ. It's not that he was just shooting himself in the foot; that pace really hasn't been there. But it was definitely there today. It just, you know, this is the day he shot himself in the foot. But it was good to see him, at least for when it was, providing a sharpening the grid. Bats Plus of a bad run through the hotel section. That's going to hurt him in his chances for P3 here at the end.
Final lap, Lawrence out in front, and I predicted that B-Tom would break that string of second place finishes and specifically beat Lawrence, but Lawrence is defining himself as the championship favorite, as it unofficially will be a 9-point gap between these two going into the off week.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll say it, it's only 14 points back to Vader, assuming they finish as they are. So again, we have Monaco coming up. Anything can happen at Monaco. Anything can happen at a couple places. Oh, we have a spin at the back. Is that Giggle? Yeah, Giggle right at the end. Bats Plus, he was maybe close enough to go for a dive if he really wanted to. He touches the back of Vader. I think Bats might be in a good spot here. Got a really good exit.
No battery for either one. Here he goes. Outside, turn 9, side by side.
Get it. Yeah,
Vader's
a little too deep there.
Got the advantage. We'll keep an eye on this.
Yeah. That was the thing. Oh, a little bit of glitch in my screen. That's probably just my crappy internet connection. As Lawrence comes across the line.
Lawrence wins the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix round 5, his third win of season 15.
Man, sorry we didn't talk about the top two much. I mean, there wasn't really much to talk about. It was just kind of just doing their own thing. Professional around the turn. Vader. Stop changing your name, people. He gets P3, Bats Plus P4. Mebby, solid drive, P5. His penalty didn't affect him any. That's good to see. Of course, he maybe could have had something for the top two. Silent, excellent comeback drive. You'll be thinking what could have been, but P6, that is a great comeback drive. Got any weave, solid drive, P7. TJ, like I said, showing the pace. Unfortunate spin. It's going to be Ben Swervin, will not get the gap on Dirt Shark. And this will be Dirt Shark claiming the final points.
Right behind them, Cam actually bumps up ahead of Ben for a P11. As Seafreeze, Giggle, and Stanley, and boy, Seafreeze, quite the race, to say the least.
I mean, he didn't really do anything after... Well, I see that he got into the mix when he was staying out and holding towers, but... And credit to these guys, again, how many races in a row is this with no safety cars?
A lot.
I mean... I don't think we've had any safety cars since Australia, if I remember correctly. I think we had one in Australia, didn't we? I think that's been it, right?
Yeah, I don't remember having one last week.
I
in
know we
China.
didn't last week. I know that.
No,
We didn't have any in Brazil in the main race.
no.
Oh, yes, we did. We had one at the beginning in Brazil. Because remember Lawrence was on like super old mediums or whatever, or hards.
See, I'm glad you have a good memory. At least one of us does.
I feel like there was another safety car somewhere. Regardless, I mean, very clean, clean race aside from one particular incident. But yeah, other than that, I mean, flawless drive from Lawrence. Really, I mean, like I said, maybe we caught, like I said, they're just kind of going in a line. Really a fairly flawless drive from B-Tom, too. It's just, I mean, when the guy in front of you doesn't make any mistakes, it's hard to really capitalize, but yeah. 3 drivers separated by 14 points going into the break. And the crazy part is that 2 of those 3 drivers have not won a race. Because, if you think about it, Bader has 4 podiums, B-Tom has 4 podiums and 4 second-place finishes. I mean, who's won the races? It's been Seafreeze, Lawrence has won 3, and Silent, so... consistency pays off, folks.
It does, and what we're going to do now is get our podium guys in, and you know what, Charles? I feel like this is almost a weekly chat. I mean, you take a look at the top 3, and Vader, he has finished in the top 5 every race, not particularly in the podium, but he's been very consistent. Beat Tom in the podium every week, and every time Lawrence shows up, he wins. So it seems like we're going to get the same 3 guys into the Discord right now.
Like I said, Silent's probably the only one on track who had the same pace as they did. I mean, if you look at the fastest laps, they're on the same strategy, and Silent had... Well, Silent did stay out a bit longer, so it kind of makes sense that he'd have a slightly faster lap than Tom. But I think we might have to interview Lawrence first, because I think he has another race right after this.
Oh,
usually.
yep. I'll make sure to get him in here pronto. Let's get him in here.
Oh, Joel. Okay, so let's see what the... So Segrist has submitted Stanley from that weird entrance.
All right, you
Segrist,
gonna get on Discord real quick?
Yes, I can. Seafreeze again. Segrist, Seafreeze again. 4 tickets submitted, all of them by Segrist. Not particularly surprising. But hey, yeah, I'll hop on Discord here real quick.
All right. Yeah, just mute your mic on PlayStation here. All right, so we are waiting on B-Tom, but I think what we'll do is we will interview our winner, Lawrence, first. Last time we interviewed you, you had another race afterwards, so we'll make sure to get this interview through. Your 3rd win of the season, and it seems like anytime you have shown up, you have been on the top step of the podium. You had to hold off B-Tom throughout the entire race there. It was kind of a close gap, but just take me through pitting before him, because I feel like that was a huge point in the race.
Oh, yeah, no. Tom kept me more than honest. He had very good pace today. If roles were reversed, he'd have been just as deserving a winner. But, yeah, I figured in my mind if we went to lap 16 and none of us had pitted, like 13 laps on the mediums wasn't going to be as bad as saying do that extra 14th lap. So I was waiting. I was going to pit 16 in my mind. So if Tom had gone 15, I was going to go 16. If he didn't pit with me, or if nobody had pitted by 16, I was going to pit 16 anyway. So that's what I kind of had in mind. Yeah, I mean, like I said, he had good pace. I was prepared for those tires to catch up, and he did make some good ground into me. I think he got to like 1.1, 1.2, but I think it was very fortunate I had a little bit more battery in reserve. I had old league racing friend of mine engineering for that one. So shout out to Janab if he's still watching the stream. Thank you to him, man. He gave me some really good information about the DRS. So I was just thinking to myself, okay, I've got this little chunk of battery that I've got saved up. I just need to use it in a smart fashion, and I think thankfully I was able to do that. And thanks again to Janab because he's very helpful there. Shout out to him. Definitely helped me to get that win today.
That's awesome. And now that we're going to the mid-season break, even though technically it's the 1/3 of the season break, we have a good amount of races left. My question is kind of two questions. First, are we going to see you every week, do you think? And now that the points between you and B Tom are really close, how do you think your chances are going forward?
Well, we'll see how it goes. Like I said, you got a week break, which would be nice, but I'm not sure I'm going to be able to make too many races from here on in. I had a few races circled on that I wanted to do, but I'll see how many I can make. I can't make any promises. I don't think I'm going to be able to make a run at the championship, unfortunately, but it's been fun. Like I said, I'll try to do a few more here and there, but I'll see what I can do. I'll put on a show every time I try to get here. That's not a ton I could say for that because frankly I don't know fully myself. But one more thing, shout out to my teammate for today, right? He gave me a tell in the last run, and that helped me get to the pole there. It helped me get to that 22.7. So thank you to him as well. Thank you to him as well. That was appreciate it. But like I said, I'll see how many I can make. If I finally make a couple more, I'll try to put on a show on the ones that I make it for. How it is.
Right on. Well, I mean, that's breaking news to me. That'll change some things, I think, with the grid throughout the rest of the season. Charles, any questions for the Abu Dhabi winner?
I think I got one. Was there ever a part in the first or second run where we thought maybe D-Tom might get you, and maybe you made a little bit of a mistake here and there? I'll be honest, we didn't see all much on the stream because it was just kind of y'all two out there in formation for pretty much the entire race. Stuck behind you. So was there ever a part in the race where you thought maybe he would overtake you or anything?
There's a couple points. I mean, I think we both understood it was always going to come down to last few laps, and I mean, Tom's smart with that. He did that well in Brazil. He's able to prepare for those last few laps. So I didn't, knowing that going in, I just kind of tried to just take it lap by lap, if that makes sense. Like I had a little bit of ERS advantage for this time, thankfully, but it's not always the case. But I wouldn't say my driving was perfect out there either. I'm not sure if you caught some of the mistakes I made. There's a couple missed corners here and there, and that's kind of things I can clean up for next time because I've got another race for Abu Dhabi in about 3 or 4 weeks, so this is good. Good advanced prep for that, let's put it that way. But yeah, I mean, I did the best I could. A couple things I could do better, but yeah, there's a couple points for him.
All right, so Lawrence, congrats on the victory, and now we move on to P2, and it seems like we're starting to say this every week. V-Tom, another podium for you. Great pace, as Lawrence said. You were right up there with him, but I'm going to piggyback off of my question from Lawrence. It seemed like that pit stop, you pitting after him, kind of made a difference. Just take me through that and whether you would have done anything different.
Yeah, only thing I would have done differently is just gone for the undercut instead. I think I had a bit more pace, especially on the hards. But I noticed he was running lower wings, so it was pretty hard to overtake. And with lower wings, you also have the benefit of recovering more battery per lap. So that was a bit of a disadvantage, especially when you had track position. So, yeah, it was just a lot stronger than I was expecting it to be. And since we're so close on pace, I knew it was going to be pretty hard to close that back, especially since without DRS, she was always going to have a bit more battery to play with. So, yeah, fair play to him. It was a pretty good race. Didn't really have much wheel-to-wheel action per se, but it was a nice battle. So, yeah.
And now we're going into the 1/3 of the season break, and there's a couple of interesting tracks coming up. One of them is Monaco. So how are you feeling about just, the schedule coming up and whether or not you can keep this consistency going?
I'm not too worried about consistency as long as I don't make any stupid mistakes or have bad luck. Then I think I should be able to get on the podium consistently going forward. But yeah, Monaco in this game is pretty horrible. It's ridiculously understeery, especially in the hairpin and all the low speed corners. So I'm not looking forward to that at all.
Yeah, me neither, honestly.
Or to be fair, to be honest, driving on this game in general isn't that enjoyable for me. I just like competing, which is pretty much the only reason why I play the game. So, yeah, I don't know, I'm just gonna take it race by race. Hopefully, the car isn't too undrivable in Monaco, and we'll see what happens.
Charles, any questions for Mr. B Tom?
Oh, well, I mean, good thing we're TCR is saving all the rain. So, that's what we're doing.
Oh God.
But anyway.
Oh God.
I mean, we haven't had a rain race yet this season. Not that we expected it this week, but But I guess I'll just do the flip of what I asked Lawrence. Is there any spot during the race where you thought you might be able to overtake him, or you had a shot at him?
I thought about it, but I had a feeling that with the DRS and him having a bit more top end speed, he'd probably just be able to get me back anyways. But I don't know. In hindsight, I probably should have gone a bit more aggressive, especially with the undercut, like I said a bit earlier. So, but I mean, hindsight's 2020. I mean, I tried the undercut in China. I got held up, so that didn't work. That's part of the reason why I didn't try it tonight. So, yeah. I don't know. It's tricky.
It definitely is. Well, B Tom, congrats on yet another podium finish. And now we move on to somebody that honestly has been just about as consistent. Darth Vader, once again in the podium here today. You have not had a finish outside the top 5 all season. And just like last week, you were in a battle for the podium with Bats Plus. Just take us through that and what you had to do to hold them off.
I've stopped sweating. Man, I was dripping in sweat the whole time. Literally dancing the rear end every corner of every lap. Had many snaps. I'm not sure if y'all were watching the battle between me and Bats or just on board or whatever. It just probably looked a little like I don't know how he's driving that thing. I put in so many laps, man, for practice, and I've gone through like every setup iteration I can think of, and I just have not felt comfortable at all, which is complete opposite of last season whenever I won the sprint, and I think I got P2 or something in the race, or whatever. Same game too, which is weird. Maybe it's the performance patch or something that EA or Cody's have done. But the battle between me and Bats I thought was really good. There was points that I was about to overtake him. I tried around the outside one time, I think, after the pit stop or something, and I almost lost the rear end in the car on the curb. Just had a moment of snap, and I was like, I thought it was done. I don't know how I saved it. I think TJ and maybe got a good view from behind, so maybe they have a POV. And then I harvested the next lap, and then I think a lap after, or 2 laps after that, I tried it again, the same move, which I was actually farther back after the chicane, and I just dumped the ERS the entire time, and I just sent it around the outside, and took a narrower line, so we didn't make contact, but it was pretty darn close. So, and then he attempted to overtake the last lap, I think, and that was a little sketchy. Or it was into the chicane, then into the long left-hander, but overall, good race, solid. I'm really happy with the podium. What else? Shame for my teammate who got the drive-through under the VSC. And I'm not sure what Bats was doing, or maybe the Haas was in front of me, but there's a 2-second gap, like a 2-second positive delta, pretty much the whole time, and just would not speed up. And I was just losing time to the front runners. After the VSC, I was like 2 seconds back from before the VSC, so I'm not really sure what was on his screen, or if he just lost concentration or fell asleep at the wheel, or autopilot. But yeah, good race. I'm happy.
I'm really surprised because it was D'Angelo who spun out and crashed on the front straightaway, and there was like half a dozen people that swerved by him. Like we thought it was a safety car just because it should have been, but it was only a VSC.
Yeah, if it was a real safety car, I don't think any of us would have pitted because it was so early. So probably wouldn't have mattered. Maybe just the restart or whatever. But yeah, I felt bad for him because I think Aston Martin has just had a rough time or a rough last few races, and it'd be cool to have him up in the front again, like we did in Australia and whatever the other race was. I think Japan a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Actually, then Seafreeze got taken out. So yeah, I'm happy for Cody. It was cool to have him again, and Janab, I don't know how to say his name, but he was also in the VC with us and was helping me out with the ERS level of Bats Plus. So I was trying to learn where I could kind of use it a little bit, where I had to harvest, and I kind of figured out really early, like, I didn't have to really use the ERS a lot because I had just such good top end speed and wing level. But yeah, let's recover over the break and come back strong.
Right on. Charles, any questions? I mean, I know we've gone over a lot here the past couple minutes.
Yeah, so with Raikkonen probably not being in for the championship,
Lawrence.
Lawrence.
you did that during the race too.
Yeah, you guys watch the stream back. I made that mistake a couple times, but anyway.
A couple hundred.
That bad. With him not being able to probably contend for championship, you are 14 points behind me, Tom. What are you going to do to take the next step and contend for championship?
To be honest, I'm taking it race by race. Me and Silent, that's an agreement. We take it race by race. We don't really look at the championship. I haven't even looked at the points since round 2, I think. Like literally haven't even opened the document. Or maybe it's round 3. Yeah, but honestly, I don't know where we are in the constructors. I don't know who's second. I don't know where we are. I don't know where I am in the championship. I don't know where Silent is. I don't know how many points anybody has. And that's like full honesty. So, and I'm not going to look at the points. So I'm taking it race by race and just practice, head down, focus, collaborate with some other guys, and see if you can find a bit more pace.
Yeah, I can tell you right now if you want me to.
No.
Okay.
I don't really care. I mean, you can. I don't care because I'm not going to think about it.
I mean, to be fair, both of us has finished on the podium every single race, and neither one of us has won. So there's never been a big point swing.
Well, actually, I didn't finish on the podium last week. You finished on the podium every race.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, no, did you finish?
Yeah. Huh?
Tom, did you finish 4th at Australia?
No, I got promoted to P3 after Silence penalty.
Yeah, by like half a second or 2/10 or something.
Yeah.
And actually, I missed the podium last week. I missed the podium last week because I spun on my own because I was mad that Batch overtook me, and I was watching the mini map to make sure that Silent won and that he didn't get taken out with the contact.
I think you first lost. That'd be rad. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I also spun on my own at the hairpin. There was no contact because I was watching the mini map to make sure that Silent won. So if I didn't do that, I would have gotten P3. Or P4, I guess. I don't know. Whatever. No, it's P3.
Yeah, well,
I don't know.
Either way, I mean, you two have been extremely consistent all season, and I'm sure we're going to hopefully, see that more as the season goes on. But Charles, we are 1/3 of the way through the Platinum season, so I'm going to ask a 2-part question here. How was this race, and just your thoughts on this season as a whole as we go into the break?
Well, I don't want to downplay this race, but aside from a little bit of fireworks from the league owner at the beginning of the race, this race was honestly pretty uneventful, and and obviously not necessarily a bad thing. There were good battles at times. Obviously, Bats and Vader had a couple good scraps there, but for the most part, pretty uneventful. Very clean race. And yeah, it's kind of been the theme this season. I think only been like one or two safety cars all year. It's always been good to see, and I think we're going to continue seeing the same guys up front, especially if the trend's going to continue with no safety cars and nothing really to mix things up. So, I think this is going to be interesting. It'll be interesting to see, how, the consistency that, the top 2, 3 really in points have shown, I mean, I know they can keep it up, but it's like at some point something's going to happen to one of them, and it's going to be real interesting to see when that happens, especially with a couple of wild card rounds coming up, namely Monaco. So, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I don't think we have seen the chaos yet. I really think things balance out in the end, and I'm not just saying this for this class. I think for all 3 classes, we got some of that in silver and golden this week with the late race safety cars, especially yesterday with the safety car coming out on lap 26 out of 29, literally like right towards the end of the race. Yeah. But
sorry to interrupt, but I think something is brewing. Just kind of to butt in, something is brewing in Platinum.
Oh.
And something's cooking, and I think something will happen sooner than later, but I'm not really sure where it's going to happen, but just have this weird feeling.
Well, I'll just put the jinx in right now. I know I mentioned a couple times before. We're 15 races in total to the season, and I know really 12 because there wasn't going to be any race this week, but there hasn't been a single rain race in any of the classes this entire time.
You did this earlier where you're like, oh, Monaco, is going to be the rain race.
Bound to happen at some point. We're going to have like 3 rain races in a row somewhere. Probably throw a wrench into it. So
yeah, I think Vader was more so saying like drama. I think that's what he was implying with the Platinum.
Crash, drama, some Imola, Silverstone, Spain type of esque thing from 2021. I think that's going to be coming.
Interesting.
Well, stay tuned for that. That's a good time to go into the break, right? Get everybody hyped up for the rest of the season and what might be brewing. But if you want to take a look at what goes on after the race, be sure to join us on Discord. We do have a server. If you go to our website, it's just trinitycompetitiveracing.com. You'll find us on there, and you'll find everything on the website. So check us out. We do everything pretty much. We do races, podcasts. I do a bunch of shorts. I spend a ton of time doing them, actually. So please check them out. I think that will do it, though, from round 5 of the Platinum class. My name is Camden Luca. That is Sir Charles, and we will see you in 2 weeks in the Great Britain.